You're listening to the Indie 500 podcast, where each week we break down a different randomly selected album from NME Magazine's top 500 albums of all time list. At this time, I will read a court-ordered statement as part of a settlement of a unnamed host's lawsuit against the show itself. Here we go. Clarence White, often referenced on the podcast as a bluegrass guitar legend and inventor of the B-bender system for electric guitars, is not, and has at no time been, compared to Jimi Hendrix by any reputable sources. Any statements made on this podcast to the contrary, past, present, or future, are false. Thank you for listening. Please leave us a review, a rating, or find us on TikTok to see what we've been listening to on a daily basis. And enjoy the show.
This episode is brought to you by Prilosec REM. When the day is long and the late night snack is yours alone, when you're sure you've had too much of this heartburn, well, hang on. Don't let yourself go, because everybody's stomach cries. Everybody's stomach hurts. Sometimes. Stipe heartburn in its place with new Prilosec REM, available now at Walgreens, CVS, and anywhere made-up drugs are sold.
One, two. Got to. Okay.
Okay, so this week's episode, we landed on the list number 63, which is Joni Mitchell's album Blue, released June 22nd, 1971. And in honor of Blue, this week's question is basically, you know, if you were making up a concert, we're calling it the Roy G. Biv Memorial Concert lineup. If you were making a concert based on the colors of the rainbow, the old Roy G. Biv, what would your festival look like? I'll let you go first.
Yes, very, very colorful festival. You know, God, I tried to keep it to one genre, or at least a logical lineup, but I think I failed. And it's okay. Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, for the most part, I got it ballparked, but not really.
Okay.
All right. So I think my opener, rest in peace, Scott Weiland. The V would be Velvet Revolver for me. The I would be Incubus. As you can see, I'm thinking.
Okay.
90s.
This is kind of holding together so far.
So far. I don't know if we ever talked about it, like closeted Incubus fan. I don't know if that's, good or not.
No, I think that's okay these days.
Definitely, their first album was very funk rock, like Chili Peppers type stuff, and super cool. But they went poppy, and got a lot of fans. Good for them. B, somebody I think you mentioned on Thursday, Bush, came to mind. Here's where I start getting a little out there, and for G, I go Gojira, because, well, who doesn't love a little Gojira now and then? For Y, not a lot of options, so I went with the one that made the least sense in this lineup, with the Yellow Magic Orchestra. I could have gone yeahs or yes. For O, it's been 1 year, so it brings me a little bit of a tear to say it, but Ozzy, I had to go with for O.
We'll bring him back.
And my headliner for R, Rush.
Okay. I did this exercise slightly differently.
I can't wait to hear it.
I thought we had to be related to the actual color, not just the letter.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. I'll go opposite direction here. So for red, I said, I know we've had our ups and downs on the show itself, but I wouldn't say no to the old Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Chili Willy.
Yeah. For O, orange, I said Frank Ocean performing Channel Orange in full. I'd like to see that. Interestingly, we did cross over on Y. I also put down Yellow Magic Orchestra, but I added that they would be opening with a cover of Yellow Submarine.
Oh. Ooh.
Yeah. For G, green, I put down Aphex Twin doing a 45-minute long version of Green Calcs from Selected Ambient Works. I forget the numbers on that one. It's like 72 to 85? 78 to 85?
83.92.
Oh, that might be it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm in 70s mode for
It's the one we did,
for
right?
Joni. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
For B, I put down original Simpsons cast performs all tracks from Simpsons Sing the Blues. I've been missing that CD. I'm sure it's probably streaming anyway. I for Indigo, you're kind of boxed into a corner here, but I really don't have any beef with the Indigo Girls being at my festival.
I mean, it's a very welcoming lineup, I think, by having them on there.
Yeah. It's a little eclectic, but I think everybody here would not be grading on each other. And finally, V for Violet, I put down Hole because they would open with the track Violet from Live Through This.
Okay,
And
let me see if I can do an off the cuff real quick of color type thing. Unless you had something else to add on there, I don't want to.
And finally, I put down for the black and white side stage. Although I apparently, here we go. For the black and white side stage, Black Dahlia Murder, who are purveyors of classic tracks such as Ever Black, Black Valor, and Everything Went Black. And then I wrote down, hell, he's done so much for the podcast already. Bring out the inexplicably always mentioned in like 75% of our episodes, the inventor of the B-bender, replacer of Graham Parsons, bluegrass guitar legend, Clarence White.
If you can book a festival with Clarence White opening for Black Dahlia Murder, I'm so there.
Oh yeah, that's the side stage. So we're hanging at the side stage. Yeah, I would go see that.
All right, so let's see. We have
Red.
Yes, Red, simply Red. Orange. Let's do. Is it Code Orange? Their name, they're a modern metal band. Yellow. Let's do Coldplay. Only performing Yellow because that's their only good song.
Code Orange is an American metalcore band, so you're good.
Yep, cool. Green. Let's do Green Jelly.
Oh,
They're
okay.
kind of eccentric. Blue. Let's see. You Are My Boy Blue. Should I just get Eiffel 65 and get the crowd dancing with a 96-minute version of Blue?
Yeah. They're going to come up on this episode, so might as well do it here.
I think Indigo is, really pigeonholed on that one.
What else are you going to do?
They're gonna have to double book, I guess. And then
you could
Violet,
have like India Ari. It's like most of the Indigo.
That's close, yeah. Violet, I will actually go with Violet Grohl, Dave Grohl's oldest daughter, who's I think she put out an album, but I remember getting to hear her sing when she was like 12 at my former boss's house one time when they were all jamming together. Dave was there and oh shit, this girl's got some pipes on her. She's going to be something, and lo and behold.
Nice. Yeah, I was trying to think of some alternates I had. Red. We're going to mention it, but you could, if you really wanted to draw a crowd, you could have Taylor Swift perform her album Red.
Also, the Crimson album Red, performed by Taylor Swift.
Yeah. There's there we go. There's also rapper Sexy Red. For Green, we both avoided Green Day somehow. Yeah.
I mean, a Green Day and Red Hot Chili Peppers festival just makes too much sense, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. All right. Let us move on from this silliness.
All right. I guess we should.
We got a bit of an album here.
Let's see. We might have a theme. We might. Maybe we do.
Yeah. Let's see. It's my turn to cue the theme. There we go.
My buddies tell me that I should have waited. They say I'm missing a world of fun, but I still love them and I sing with pride. I like podcasting live. I like podcasting live.
special thanks to Graham Cracker Parsons for that wonderful cover of The Christian Life.
Yeah.
The cover in itself.
The podcast is never too far away from a good old Graham Parsons riff.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of become a part of our lives, hasn't he? Even though we weren't even born by the time he passed away, but what does that matter? All right, so this week, as you said, we are talking Joni Mitchell, the album Blue, released June 22nd, 1971. It is ranked number 63 on NME Magazine's Top 500 of All Times albums list. It is also constantly hailed as one of the greatest albums ever put out by a female artist. I believe Rolling Stone has it as number 3 on their Top 500. So while number 63 is very good, I would say that there are certainly folks that think the world of it even more so.
Yeah. This is one of those. This is one of those that you see. Yeah, like a lot of people would put in the top 10 at least.
Yeah, and I think, as we'll get to it, understandably so. There's a lot of cultural significance to it, as well as just excellent music and lyrics and everything going on there. So I guess before this, what was your Joni experience? I mean, did you know much about her? Had you heard much of her music, or
not much? I know I've heard songs. Definitely heard California before, and I knew of the name, but not very familiar before this week.
Yeah, I had a little. I mean, I talk about it a little bit in our interview with Annie Zaleski, but I had heard the album Hygera because I was a Jaco Pastorius fan, the bass player, and he helped her on that album. So I was like, oh, okay, this is some of Jaco's work. Let me listen to it. And, by proxy, listen to Joni Mitchell. But as far as the classic albums, I hadn't heard too much. And, kind of one of those, definitely a void in my knowledge and my listening history. But I think after this one, safe to say I'm a fan.
Yeah, same. Well, can you tell us a bit about Joni's history before from this album?
I could.
History man, a word burger, please.
All right. Well, the word burger for this week, my Chris Hemsworth looking friend, Joni Mitchell. Before there was blue, there was a prairie. And before any of that, there was a girl in a hospital bed in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, teaching herself to sing to the other patients because she couldn't get up and move. Roberta Joan Anderson was born November 7th, 1943 in Fort Macleod, Alberta, a flat, windswept town on the Canadian prairies where her father, Bill Anderson, was stationed as a flight lieutenant in the Royal Canadian Air Force during the war. When the war ended, the family packed up and moved, first to Maidstone, Saskatchewan, then to North Battleford, trailing across the province the way working families do. Her father became a grocer. Her mother, Myrtle, that's an all-time name right there, Myrtle, had been a school teacher. In Maidstone, where Bill managed an okay economy store, young Joan, she wouldn't become Joni until she reinvented herself, respelling her name for how it looked as a signature, had her first real window on the world. A chair at the living room window, watching the daily steam train pass along the railway line. She'd wait there every morning to wave at the driver. For the rest of her life, trains would turn up in her songs. Throughout her childhood, the family moved constantly. North Battleford, the next stop, was bigger. There was a department store with a listening booth where records could be played, which proved a magnet for a girl developing a passion for music. After going to see a film called The Story of Three Loves with her friend Frankie McKittrick, Joan became entranced by Rachmaninoff's theme on the soundtrack. She'd go back to that listening booth whenever she could, record clasped in hand. It was a specific and early lesson in how much music could hit the body before the mind understood what it was doing to you. Piano lessons started at 7, but they didn't last. The teaching method at the time was what she later called knuckle rapping school. Oh yeah. Even, I don't know, when I took piano for a little bit in community college, I still had a piano teacher that would go around and try and slap at my hands because I was trying to stretch my hand like a guitarist instead of moving it like a piano player. So
yeah, it sounds pretty standard for piano teaching for some reason.
Yeah, no wonder I didn't really want to.
Maybe it works. I don't know.
For some people like me, I'll just stick with guitar, thanks, and then I'll get a keyboard that plays whatever skill I tell it to play. and it'll filter out the icky notes. Her teacher once asked her, "Why would you want to play by ear when you could have the masters at your fingertips?" That same teacher, years earlier, had forced 7-year-old Joan to sit on her hands for trying to improvise. Again,
Okay.
fucking piano teachers. She'd already written her first song, a little tune called Robin Walk, and wanted to play it on the classroom piano. Creativity was not imagined in that culture, as she'd later describe it. She quit lessons after about a year and a half. Music was not her identity yet. Painting was. Then at 9 years old, everything shifted. The family had just settled again, this time in Saskatoon, the city she would eventually call her hometown, when Joan contracted polio. She remembered the morning it happened with unusual clarity. Peg gray slacks, a red and white gingham blouse, a blue sweater. She got to school, and the next morning she couldn't get out of bed. Her mother tried to pull her up. She collapsed. She was rushed to the polio clinic at St. Paul's Hospital in Saskatoon, paralyzed. This is 1953, before the Salk vaccine, when the disease was still feared and sometimes fatal. Neil Young, also growing up on the Canadian prairies at the same time, was among the children who contracted it during the same epidemic. Doctors told her she might never walk again. In the hospital, confined to bed and surrounded by other sick children, she sang for them. Not because anyone asked her to, because it was the thing she could do, and it worked. On her as much as anyone else. She later described the experience as something that humanized her, a sorrow that opened something up. That instinct, music as a form of presence, of giving something to a room, of filling up a space with something true, that instinct never left her. She recovered. Her left hand would remain weakened by the effects of post-polio syndrome for the rest of her life, a fact that would quietly shape everything about how she eventually played guitar. But she got her legs back, she went home to Saskatoon, and she grew up. Through high school at Aidan Bowman in Saskatoon, Mitchell was primarily a classroom artist. She had two close friends who were serious musicians. Her friend, previously mentioned Frankie McKittrick, a classical piano prodigy, and Peter Armstrong, who studied classical voice. Together, the three of them would put on imaginary circuses, stage fantastical artistic play. As she described it, had that play not existed, it would have changed my destiny. She was also beginning to haunt the coffee houses where folk revival was just starting to make noise. Unable to afford a proper guitar, she bought a $36 baritone ukulele and a Pete Seeger instruction book. $36 for a guitar. I could do that.
A baritone ukulele, too. Interesting.
Yeah, right? Yeah, fun.
Talk Down Joni is another one of our, along with Frank Sinatra, as possible ukulele kids.
Yep. Something going on there, though, but it worked out. She taught herself to play by ear. She was soon singing at parties and small clubs. One of her first regular spots was Louis Reel Coffee House in Saskatoon, named for the Batiste leader whose rebellion and execution remained a raw nerve in the province's history. She played ski lodges, she played hootenannies, she appeared on local television, and through all of it, she still thought she was going to be a painter. In 1963, she enrolled at the Alberta College of Art in Calgary. She found the curriculum disconnected from anything she actually wanted to make. By this point, she had a guitar. She performed regularly at a Calgary club called The Depression, which is the kind of club name that tells you everything you need to know about the local folk scene.
Yeah.
And somewhere on a 3-day train ride from Calgary to Toronto on the Canadian Pacific Railroad in the summer of '64, the decision crystallized. She wrote her first original song, Day After Day, set to the rhythm of the train wheels. By the time she arrived in Toronto, she had decided she was going to be a folk singer. Toronto in 1964 was a vibrant scene. The Yorkville neighborhood was a Canadian equivalent of Greenwich Village. Coffee houses, folk clubs, bohemian energy, musicians sleeping on floors and trading songs. Mitchell, like other musicians, arrived there broke. She couldn't afford the $140 entrance fee to join the Musicians Union, which is required to play most venues. So she worked as a salesgirl at a Sears department store until she had enough money. Then she started playing. The Riverboat, the Penny Farthing, wherever they'd have her. She also arrived pregnant. Her boyfriend from Calgary, an art student named Brad McMath, had followed her to Toronto and then left for California. She was 20, unmarried, destitute, and keeping the pregnancy secret from her parents back in Saskatchewan. She later described the stigma of the time in terms that are almost impossible to imagine now. The scandal was so intense, My daughter could do nothing more disgraceful. You have no idea what the stigma was. It was like you murdered somebody. Sad. In February 1965, she gave birth to a daughter she named Kelly Dale Anderson, the name chosen for the color Kelly green. The baby went into foster care while Mitchell, nearly penniless, tried to figure out what came next. A few weeks later, at the Penny Farthing Club, she met a young American musician named Chuck Mitchell. She chastised him during their first meeting for badly altering a Bob Dylan lyric. Then they married in June of 1965. So
you'll note that's 2 episodes in a row where a changing of a Bob Dylan lyric is coming to the story. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the threads we weave on these,
connections.
Right? Yeah. So they married in June 1965, reportedly 36 hours after they first met. So, that doesn't sound like a 1960s hippie move at all. Not at all. At that point, she became Joni Mitchell, the name she would keep for the rest of her life, long after the marriage dissolved. Spoilers, sorry. Not long after the wedding, the adoption for her child was finalized. The baby, renamed Killaren by her adoptive family, was gone. Mitchell kept the secret for nearly 30 years, but she wrote about it almost immediately. The 1966 song, Little Green, which would eventually appear on Blue, is a direct address to that lost daughter. She was 22 when she wrote it. She would carry it unreleased for 5 years before the world heard it. Chuck and Joni moved to Detroit, where they performed together on the folk circuit from Philly to Toronto. Joan Baez saw them play at the Gaslight in New York and told Joni she reminded her of Buffy St. Marie. The folk world was small enough that everyone eventually found each other. The marriage lasted a year and a half. Mitchell later called it her first major exploiter. She wrote, "I Had a King" about it. In early 1967, they separated. She moved to New York and launched her solo career. New York opened up fast for her. Based in a small apartment in Chelsea, she was playing clubs across the East Coast, coffee houses in Greenwich Village, folk festivals, anywhere that would book her. She was also beginning to attract other people's attention. Tom Rush covered the song "The Urge for Going." Judy Collins covered "Both Sides Now." George Hamilton took Mitchell's songs into the country charts. The folk world was small and porous, and her songs are moving through it like water. In the fall of 1967, performing at the Cafe Au Go-Go in Greenwich Village, she met Elliot Roberts, a young manager who had gone on a tip from Buffy St. Marie. Roberts walked in third on a bill supporting Richie Havens and a stand-up comedian. He went backstage after and told her he'd kill to work with her. She told him he could pay his own way on her next tour if he wanted to prove it. He did, so she hired him. Roberts was not obviously great managerial material. He'd previously been managing comedians. The results his former clients described generously as mixed. But he had 2 things in his favor: genuine belief in Mitchell's talent and a forthcoming connection to David Geffen, who would become her co-manager and eventually the head of Asylum Records. Roberts, who had also been savvy enough to understand from the beginning that her publishing needed to be protected. His guiding principle, the motto, was Bob Dylan, not radio hits. The goal was music people use as a soundtrack of their lives. When several major labels came knocking, Columbia, RCA, Elektra, and either turned her down or offered unacceptable terms, Roberts kept going. Elektra actually had 2 chances to sign her and passed both times. The second time, the sticking point was that Mitchell insisted on designing her own album cover, and the label's art department refused. It is a rejection that one would say aged badly. Roberts connected her to, this guy formerly of the Byrds, interesting, connected her to David Crosby, who had become one of the central connective nodes of the LA music scene. It was at a gig in Florida that Joni met David Crosby, and he went to bat for her with Reprise Records. But here's the detail that matters. Elliot Roberts had negotiated for a completely unknown artist on her first record deal, complete creative control over the cover art, the sleeve notes, and the musical content. Roberts later recalled the label's resistance. They were not used to anyone saying it has nothing to do with the money. We need creative control. He got it anyway. From her first album to her last, no one told Joni Mitchell what to put on a record or how to package it. That fact alone sets her apart from almost every other major artist of the era. Definitely true there. Crosby produced the debut album, recorded at Sunset Sound in Hollywood and released in March of 1968. The album is known both as Song to a Seagull and Simply as Joni Mitchell. It's a folk record, acoustic, introspective, more musically sophisticated than people expected from a 24-year-old. But it barely registered on the charts. But it did herald in a new voice, a sensibility, the ability to write from the inside of an experience in a way that somehow felt universal. The closing track, Cactus Tree, is already doing something strange and confessional. Crosby even claimed to identify himself as the sailor in the first verse. She was also by this point doing something genuinely strange with her guitar. As we mentioned prior, when she had suffered polio, the weakness in her left hand meant she could never comfortably play a standard chord shape. So instead of working around the limitation, she transformed it into her language. She started experimenting with open tunings, retuning the guitar that she get full resonant chord voicings with unconventional fingerings. A key moment came when she went to the Detroit Folk Club Chessmate to see Eric Anderson play. He'd gotten into open tunings from old blues players like Muddy Waters, Mississippi Fred McDowell, and he was playing in open E, D, and G tunings that night. Afterwards, she asked him to show her. He did. As Anderson later recalled, from there, the rest was history. She took the idea and ran with it so far that by her own account, she eventually developed more than 50 different tunings. Over 80 if you count capo variations. She invented her own notation system to keep track of them. She described the harmonic territory she was finding as pure majors are like major colors. They evoke pure well-being. Her chords didn't sound quite anything like what had been on a folk record before. And I guess, to put it in maybe non-guitarist terms, you and I are both guitarists, so we kind of know what that means. Instead of having to, do the shapes with a claw, on your hand and everything like that to hold a chord, you can basically press down one finger across the entire guitar neck and that'll play your chord. Makes it a lot easier. And, if you have a weakened hand, that's one way to do it and still kind of sound cool. And I would say over the years, Joni's music definitely has its own unique sound to it. There's definitely not a lot like it. Let's see. Clouds followed in May 1969, and this time the world was paying attention, largely because Judy Collins had taken both the sides now to the national top 10 in December of 1968. And now everyone wanted to know who wrote it. Clouds reached number 31 on the Billboard 200. Mitchell produced most of it herself and painted a self-portrait of the cover. In 1970, she won the Grammy for Best Folk Performance for that album. She was 26 years old. By then, she was living with Graham Nash of Crosby, Stills, and Nash in a house she bought on Lookout Mountain Avenue in Laurel Canyon. Nash wrote Our House about their domestic life there. She had also somewhat inadvertently helped assemble the band itself. It was at a party at her house that Crosby and Nash first met. For a while, the arrangement with Nash looked like it might become something permanent. It didn't. Nash, for his part, later said he wanted a more traditional domestic situation. Mitchell, for her part...
you definitely want to go around the New York folk scene if you're looking for a very traditional living arrangement with a woman.
Exactly. You want stable, old school life, stay-at-home mom and everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds good.
I guess this is, Mitchell, not that it changes the joke much, but I guess this is the LA scene now, right?
Half of one, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, honestly. Yeah. Mitchell, for her part, was constitutionally incapable of standing still. As she had once joked, I feel like I'm married to this guy named Art.
Oh, well, there you go.
Bandolay?
Good one.
Yeah. All right. Ladies of the Canyon arrived in April 1970, her commercial breakthrough, eventually going platinum, containing Big Yellow Taxi, The Circle Game, and Woodstock. That last one needs a moment. Joni Mitchell did not attend Woodstock. She had been scheduled to perform on Sunday night in August 1969, but Elliot Roberts pulled her off the bill because she had a booking on the Dick Cavett show the following morning and couldn't risk getting stranded in traffic.
That's
She watched the... Yeah.
Okay.
That's
a valid reason.
She wanted to play the Roy G. Biv Festival anyway, so, I get it. She watched the coverage from David Geffen's apartment in Manhattan. She described the experience as feeling like a biblical loaves and fishes miracle viewed at a distance. 300,000 people cooperating, nurturing each other, a modern miracle, as she put it. She wrote Woodstock out of that intense angle of deprivation. Stephen Stills had tried to write his own Woodstock song on the flight back and gave up when she played him hers. CSNY released it as a single. It peaked at number 11, it became quite the anthem. In early 1970, that relationship with Nash unraveled. She sent him a telegram from Greece. Nash was laying a new kitchen floor when it arrived. So good old stay-at-home dad, Graham Nash, getting the Dear John while he's working. He later said he was devastated. Mitchell had taken an extended retreat from the demands of sudden fame, from the crowds, from the machine of it all. She ended up at Matala on the Greek island of Crete, living in a cave community with a red-haired American chef named Carrie Raditz.
And actually, I cover a lot of this in my section.
Okay.
Yeah. Before you leave me with nothing.
All right. Well, should I talk about James Taylor, or do you want to take over from James Taylor?
I think I can cover James Taylor.
All right. Let me see if there's anything else. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, that's a little bit of background on Joni Mitchell.
Yeah, that's where she's from.
She's got some interesting Mad Lib style stories in there.
And not to put you on the spot, but how many albums in is Blue?
I believe it's her third, but let me confirm that real quick.
Okay.
That's a little looking up albums.
Yeah, a little ditty there.
Yeah, so fourth. Songs to a Seagull, Clouds, Ladies of the Canyon, then Blue in 1971.
Okay. All right. Well, I think now's about the time we usually take our Outcast theme.
Right.
I'd like to buy the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves. I'd like to teach the world to sing with me. Perfect harmony, perfect harmony. I'd like to buy the world a coat and keep it company. And the real I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony, perfectly. And I'd like to buy the world a coat and keep it company. It's the real thing. What the world wants today is the real thing. What the world wants today is the real thing.
They really don't make
you. No, I was gonna say thank you, Don Draper, for
right.
for the Buy the World a Coke theme.
Let's see Pepsi come up with that one.
Yeah, no thanks.
All right, so maybe just a quick look at some headlines that have crossed our path since the last time we adjourned, which
Oh my God! I mean,
a couple of weeks.
it's been a little while.
Yeah,
Life's getting in the way, but again, we did have Yossi Salek tell us we're allowed to slow down. So
yes,
we're taking the advice.
We're living life. We're still making content, and thanks to
we're enjoying this. We're enjoying the summer. You enjoy your summer too. What are you doing? Listen to a podcast.
Well, it looks like people are going back and listening to the old episodes, and our numbers are still continuing to climb, and we definitely appreciate that. And
well, good. Thank you.
If nobody was listening, it's harder to motivate ourselves to wake up at 6 o'clock on a Saturday morning. But you're out there listening, so thank you. But yeah, kind of things that have crossed my path, at least. Maybe you have some others too. I think the biggest news, of course, everybody's talking about it. William Shatner is going to be at Riot Fest, backed by a heavy metal band. I mean,
yeah,
we got to see that, right?
Yeah.
Could it be as good as Christopher Lee backed by a metal band? I don't know. But
yeah, no. That's what I was trying to conjure up in my mind. I was like, what was the other? Yeah. I have a feeling it's not going to be as committed as Christopher Lee's metal band.
No. I'm just trying to think of what other Star Trek, cast I would want to see and by what kind of band. I mean, I feel like maybe Michael Dorn with a punk band behind him would be kind of fun.
Interesting pairing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would just
Janeway with I don't know. What would you put with Captain Janeway?
Janeway strikes me as possibly like a B-52's type or a cover band. She could be one of the ladies in there.
Nice.
I don't know. I'm a little bit clouded because she's also Red from Orange is the New Black.
Oh,
So it's got,
is she
she's
really?
got, yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, that's her.
Oh.
That's also, oh, Jesus.
We
I'm
use the
forgetting her
parlance of
name.
our times. I was today years old when I found that out.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I was going to say, I'd go see a new wave band populated by the various Jeffrey Combs characters from over the years.
That would be good.
Or maybe, yeah. I forget
Could Q, backed by Devo, open for them?
Oh, yeah. There you go. I'd go see
Something
that.
really quirky and eccentric, and yeah.
Yeah, Q almost strikes me as like he might be like a Weird Al type act. You know,
Yeah,
he's always a
there's
little,
definitely
he's got a little smirk.
intelligent
He's got a little smirk in there.
silliness to it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I have on there too. There's an Oasis documentary on the way.
Yeah, I don't know that they've had a wide release date just yet, but I know they are bringing it to I don't know if it's Cannes or whatever the big film festival coming up is. They're going to debut it there.
Awesome.
Can't wait.
And I think as of today, we are 1 month away from the KEXP barbecue,
Exciting.
also known as ADP Day and Jean Day Poutine.
Yeah, their legend continues to grow. What do we have?
They've now married Shania Twain. Is that my
Yeah,
understanding?
I was going to say we've had that clip of Shania Twain just going. She's like, she was going big fan for them.
They're now in a polycule with Shania Twain and Jules Holland, and it's really just wonderful for them. Wonderful.
Well, I forgot until she mentioned it, but they have a connection as fellow Canadians as well as Joni Mitchell.
And I think one of those things where maybe sometimes more than us here in the States, the Canadians definitely take pride in their fellow Canadian musicians, no matter the genre or scene. Even a band like Nickelback gets their love from their Canadian peers, and we can raise the tariffs later if we're talking about Nickelback, but that's
70% tariff on Bryan Adams.
Yeah, about at least. And then yesterday, I haven't had a chance to listen yet, but our friends, Mr. Julian Casablancas and the Strokes, put out a new album. Is that
yes,
what I've
previously
heard?
seen on an episode of our podcast. The Strokes have a new album. I'm blanking on what the name of it was. I know the first track was called Psycho Shit. Reality Awaits is the new Strokes
That's
album.
the one.
And then from what I heard,
First one
oops.
just from a couple days ago.
Oh,
was
that's me.
Singing.
Sorry. We got 2 seconds of the Doughboys podcast on our podcast now. So we don't get destroyed.
We might.
It was from I haven't finished it, but from what I heard, it was a pretty interesting, kind of odd album. But I was digging it.
The one comment that caught my attention pretty quickly was that the first track sounded like Mars Volta to you.
Yeah, it does. Well, I mean, if you put it on, there's a particular guitar tone that's just like, I mean, I don't know if it originated elsewhere, but it's definitely something that Omar uses quite a bit.
Gotcha.
I'm not like out of pocket. I'm not out of pocket there or anything. You can put that on and you can hear it.
Well, they did have Rick Rubin producing it, so definitely
Oh.
who's not afraid
Okay,
to go
yeah,
outside of the style. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, that'll color
Cool.
my
Anything
future
else
listens.
of note? We're looking forward to not only Jean Day Poutine, but Dillinger's Escape Plan. Coming up in the fall. Some other fun things down the pipeline. Anything else in the world of music news or
Music news? I mean, not off the top of my head. I'd have to pop into like the NME website. That's actually what I usually do if I'm trying to pull news. Like when I used to do the speed news. We should bring back speed news for.
bring back
for a
street
week.
news? Okay, well
All right.
then I'll give you 2 minutes unfettered. What was your overall take on the Odyssey?
Oh, interesting. I love it. It's you can kind of tell he wanted to go beyond the 3 hour mark, but I guess there's some kind of technical limitation for the IMAX system where you can't go over I think it's almost 3 hours. But I mean,
You
that's
know,
not to
there's
say
so much
that's not to say that he didn't. That's not to say that he didn't fold it in. You know, well, it's. I mean, especially once you learn that like it's like 90% practical, probably more than that.
that's
The
pretty amazing.
visuals in it are just stunning. Go ahead and go see it on the biggest screen you can. You probably can't see it on a 70 meter. I've heard all the 70 millimeter IMAXs are sold out for like months, but
I
you
would
know
imagine.
you're not gonna have a bad time no matter where you go see it.
No, I mean, like, if there was ever a reason for me to go into Seattle to go see it at the Cinerama, like, that's the one. I mean, that and Dune 3 later in the year. Like,
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. Yeah, I'm also a big fan of his kind of additions and interpretations of the story. The things that he's added and sort of made up, I guess.
Having not seen it, I can't comment on that, but I do like the idea that, you know, he didn't just take it page for page as a literal adaptation. Yeah.
It's still the story, but there's a take on kind of there's a take on like the psychology and the more kind of what if this was a real person and what the heck is going on kind of thing.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I really enjoyed that portion of it too. So there you go. There's my out of nowhere Odyssey take.
Yeah, and you know, please, folks, no spoilers. You know, in the comments. I've held off 3,000 years of hearing this story, so I don't want it ruined now.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think we did talk about it though. The Armand Assante version back on NBC.
Oh
in
yeah,
the 90s.
love it.
So good. I kind of want to watch that now, actually, and then go see the other one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but enough about that. Enough about music news. Enough about movies, summer blockbusters. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the time that Joni Mitchell's Blue came out?
Yeah, so we've led up to here, the life and times. The date is June 22nd of 1971 when Blue actually comes out. So this history / context is going to be a little bit of a sequel to last week's episode, which I believe was set in 1969. The top song on that date in the USA, according to the Billboard Hot 100 chart, is It's Too Late by Carole King.
You were light and breezy, and I knew just what to do. Now you look so unhappy, and I feel like a fool. And it's too late, baby, now it's too late. Though we really did try to make it. Something inside.
That is a good one.
Yeah, I do like that song a lot. This is from her second album, Tapestry, which eventually I may need to double check this. I don't know if I typoed or if somebody messed up, but it says it went 14 times platinum and won 4 Grammy Awards. This song won Song of the Year at those Grammys. The album shows up as number 82 on the NME Top 500 Albums list, so we will be eventually talking some Carole King, which doesn't sound bad.
No.
But interestingly, this...
that's correct. 14 times platinum.
Damn, that is nuts.
30 million copies sold worldwide. 15 consecutive weeks at number 1 on the Billboard 200 and 4 1972 Grammy Awards.
Yeah. Well, interestingly, this portion of history / context is a little bit of a crossover with the album history because Carole King is a close contemporary of Joni Mitchell and James Taylor, who both contributed to this album Tapestry, namely because it was being recorded literally next door to where Blue was being recorded. Studio A and B, respectively, at A&M. The lyricist for Carole King, named Tony Stern, says she wrote the song one day after breaking up with James Taylor. Jesus, how many people break up with James Taylor in this year?
Like, you could put together an album of like.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I forget. I know it's. I can't remember if it's either him or somebody in the orbit, but I'm pretty sure that it was. I'm pretty sure it was him that the "You're So Vain" was also written about. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the man is the man's putting in work.
I mean, I've got like 6 songs about breaking up with him personally.
No,
so.
I mean, yeah, that was a famously.
I just haven't released them yet. That's all.
Yeah, the Helio James Taylor breakup EP.
Yeah. Coming soon, I'm sure.
Yes, in the UK, the tops apparently they didn't have time for Carole King because they were busy listening to something called "Chirpy Chirpy Cheep Cheep" by Middle of the Road.
Yeah, I listen to songs like this when I smoke crack too. It's not a problem.
What's your mama gun?
Where's your mama gone?
Little baby done.
Little baby done.
What's your mama gun?
Where's your mama gone?
Far, far away. What's your papa gun?
Where's your mama gone?
Little baby done.
Little baby gone.
What's your papa gun?
I mean, they've subjected us to worse in this segment.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess you're right. You put it that way.
Not that much. Yeah. Dupe. I mean, Dupe still holds their. It's gonna. I don't see anybody dethroning Dupe. We have like 440 chances, but I don't see it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason it's on the soundboard after 68 episodes. So,
Okay, yeah. Well, Chirpy Chirpy Cheep Cheep was originally written and recorded by a Liverpool musician named Lolly Scott, and he had been living in Italy for several years at the time. The song was a big hit in Lolly's adopted home of Italy, but his label didn't think it was going to do well anywhere else. So they offered it to a Scottish folk group called Middle of the Road, which is interesting because that almost had like an 80s like boy girl electronic vibe to it to me.
Yeah.
As we were listening to it, I totally forgot that it's a 1971 song, not an 83 or something like that. Anyway. Yeah, his label didn't think it was going to do elsewhere, so they offered it to Scottish folk group Middle of the Road and also a Trinidadian brother and sister act named Mac and Katie Kissoon.
Who also broke up with James Taylor.
Yes, the thruple of Mac, Katie, and James. Oddly enough, all 3 versions found kind of their own version of success. Middle of the Road, obviously, goes number 1 in the UK. Lolly Scott's version actually does solid work on basically every other chart around Europe. And Mac and Katie Kissoon's version was the one that did the best in the USA. It peaked at number 92 on the Hot 100 chart. So everybody got a little slice of the pie there with Chirpy Chirpy Cheep Cheep, inexplicably. In my opinion. There must be something to it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, we can't get too nitpicky. At least here in the States, we had Carole King at the time.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I think that's what's doing it for me is you had Carole King available. Yeah.
We have Carole King at home, but it's cheap. Yeah.
So around the world, history-wise, in America, so the optimism of the 60s is firmly in the rearview mirror now, and the country is beginning the 70s with a starkly different vibe. We are still ensconced in the Vietnam War. War fatigue and anti-government sentiment has permeated nearly all of America, besides the furthest of the right wing and Nixon's government itself. There's a series of internal leaks.
Now or 1971?
Yes, this is Nixon, not Trump. Yeah, and the way things repeat themselves, imagine that. maybe we'll get a repeat of this next part anyway. A series of internal leaks and whistleblowing from inside the government is fueling American disillusionment with the Nixon administration. Most notably, a release called the Pentagon Papers, which was an internal report leaked to the New York Times by a guy named Daniel Ellsberg, who was an analyst for that report. And it demonstrated that the Johnson and Nixon administrations had lied to the public and Congress about the expansion and scope of the Vietnam War, which had started to include anti-dissident operations that were crossing borders into Cambodia and Laos, which people were not happy about.
Did you perchance watch last week's Larry Life in the Pursuit of Happiness?
The last one I saw was the one that ended with the Salk polio vaccine.
Did that one have that whole Watergate deep throat?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I think this was like an earlier version of Deep Throat because it wasn't concerning Watergate just yet. I think Watergate must happen at some point after this. But yes, I did.
I haven't watched that show yet.
Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Unhappiness by Larry David, and apparently Obama, which is surprising considering some of the shit they get into. That Obama is okay being like producer and also like the first face you see when you turn on the show.
Right.
But
the sketch with JB Smooth on the Underground Railroad was,
credit where it's due. They let them say some shit on that show.
But it's something else. Yeah.
Well, if you're a fan of history and context like this segment, go ahead and check out Larry David's. What was it? What did I say? Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Unhappiness. Mm-hmm. But back to 1971 America. The post-World War II economic boom has ended, hurried along by something called the Nixon shock, which was a surprise television... I don't know what this guy was thinking. Okay, here we go. A surprise television address where the president announced a series of economic measures to combat domestic inflation and the global oversupply of the dollar caused by the government spending willy-nilly on the Vietnam War. The most important part of that address was the decoupling of the U.S. dollar from a post-World War guarantee that it could be backed by at least for $35 per ounce of, or 1 ounce of gold for every $35. So that measure was meant to discourage foreign debtors from instigating the international version of what would be a bank run on U.S. reserves, because they had started to realize the U.S. cannot possibly have enough gold to back up this guarantee on the currency. And although it was meant to be temporary, the dollar never did return to the gold standard. The economy flags for the rest of the decade because the government felt now even more free to print more dollars. And also the price of gold bullion skyrocketed up from the kind of artificial spot of $35 per ounce. And yeah, so basically that was meant to be a temporary measure, and they never did go back. So if you ever hear, usually it's right-wing cranks saying like, we need to go back to the gold standard. Now you know what they're talking about. From then on, U.S. dollars, instead of being backed by a guarantee of gold, are now backed primarily by a trust that the U.S. government is good for it. A big fat, don't worry about it, man. It's cool.
Checks in the mail. Let's go honest. I don't know.
Yeah, just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, right? But you know, it's worked. Yeah.
Just come over for the World Cup. You know, it'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, between our economy generally being relatively stable and also us holding like the biggest like national gun anyone has had in history. People don't generally want to fuck around with the dollar.
They kind of let it be.
Yeah. Some important album releases this year include Led Zeppelin 4, Marvin Gaye's What's Going On, Master of Reality by Black Sabbath, Who's Next by The Who, and the final Doors album with Jim Morrison called L.A. Woman.
Oh, damn, that's
not a slouch of a year.
No, that's pretty awesome.
Other happenings in 1971, the 4-day Attica prison riot in New York City. The EPA bans the use of toxic pesticides, including DDT, which was doing ecological damage that far outweighed its anti-pest benefits. Yeah, nice. It's nice to hear about a government agency working for our health rather than giving us all explosive diarrhea.
Yeah, or posting bizarre memes that really make no sense.
Yeah. Dreams.
Yeah, someday.
In addition to a long list of harm to humans, DDT was also famously causing birds to lay extremely thin-walled eggs, which pushed multiple species, including the American bald eagle, close to extinction.
That's why. Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Charles Manson and 3 of his quote-unquote family members are found guilty of the Sharon Tate murder. And Manson himself was given the death penalty. But in 1972, California commuted all death penalty sentences to life in prison. So that's why we never killed off Charles Manson.
That's why we had 50 years of Uncle Charlie and his what have you. Is he still alive? I forget.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I want to say no. Go ahead and look that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Apollo 14 completes NASA's
2017. He died.
Okay. Well, that's relatively recently.
Yeah.
Okay. Apollo 14 completes NASA's third lunar landing mission. Joe Frazier defeats Muhammad Ali in a bout at Madison Square Garden, and the first ever Starbucks opens at Pike Place Market in Seattle. Boy, I wish I had a coffee right now.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good, actually.
Yeah, we've been relegated to morning records now. So instead of the late night mania, we have the waking up mania for episodes. If you notice like a vibe difference at some point. If you're one of those people who's like listening to all of the episodes in order, if you notice a real a difference in the joie de vivre or whatever it is.
I get less ridiculous from drinking beers and cocktails an hour or two this time around. It's more just Red Bull.
I mean, we're still us. It's just a little different different filter. Yeah. Born in so in June of 1971 specifically, the U.S. ends its trade embargo with China, eventually leading to 2 Temu pedals that I did receive finally. A chorus, which I thought was not so great, and a reported clone of the what did I say it was? Was it the OCD drive?
A full tone?
Yeah, I believe it's the full tone OCD drive, which I do like. I'll keep that one around, but I don't know. We keep Western Washington area. Keep your eyes open for a like $10 chorus, perhaps soon hitting Facebook Marketplace.
Just a little bit of a how the sausage is made moment for you out there in the audience. I would wager to say that about 88% of Freddie and I's conversations throughout the week revolve around either guitar pedals, or Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
And then usually me asking once a week, hey, what time you want to record? That's pretty much the nutshell of it. And then the occasional pop culture or whatever goes on. But the gist of it's around that stuff.
Yeah. If perhaps you want to request another show from us, maybe we could do one of those topics.
Mm-hmm.
What else is going on here? Southwest Airlines.
To add in a Magic the Gathering question on the Roy G. Biv. festival.
Oh.
You know, which color?
Well,
deck.
maybe we can come up with albums we've covered. Maybe we could come up with cards for them sometime.
Ooh.
We'll see if that like sheds like 1/4 of our audience. If not, maybe.
Yeah. Who would you have as your commander? What enemy top 500 artist? Right?
Hey, our email is open. If you really do not want to hear us talk about magic cards, you can always email us at the Indie 500 podcast
Or if you do,
at gmail.com. Everything there is written out except for the numbers, right?
Yep, exactly. The Indie 500
Okay.
podcast.
The Indie 500 podcast at gmail.com. Email us. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, whether or not you want to hear us talk about magic cards. Southwest Airlines is founded with flights connecting Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio. And goddamn, I always forget how big Texas is. That like they could have had, they have their own airline only covering those 3 cities back then. Legendary rock venue, the Fillmore East, the East Coast home to Jimi Hendrix, Frank Zappa, the Allman Brothers, and the Grateful Dead, closes in New York City this year. Hendrix's Band of Gypsies album was actually recorded live at the Fillmore East.
I think there's a really good Allman Brothers album as well, live at the Fillmore. It was from that venue. Yeah, one of my favorites.
Yeah, some people who were born in June of 1971 include Tupac Shakur, Mark Wahlberg, Jake Busey, son of Gary Busey, John Hodgman, who you may recognize as he's the PC in the I'm a Mac, I'm a PC commercials. Noah Weil of The Pit. And go ahead, let's all get our booze and thumbs down ready. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Elon Musk. Terrible person. Yeah. Right now he seems to be having a bad time of it though, because his SpaceX and Tesla stock are heading downwards, and inshallah they hit zero, and he is I don't know, shot out of a cannon.
Yeah, I mean, there's a quote from him, something like, "I'm gonna make my own Odyssey with blackjack and hookers."
Yeah,
the Odyssey.
What a dork. A historically accurate Odyssey, which of course, like, everybody rightfully piled on him for, like, oh yeah, is your Cyclops going to be real historically accurate, buddy?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You pull up that picture you have of Poseidon. Make sure it looks like this, buddy.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Dipshit.
Well, over in the UK, credit where credit's due. This period is not specifically noted as a massive downturn of economic trouble. So this is more just your run of the mill continuance of like the one that we had mentioned on the last album episode. So good on you, UK. We celebrate small victories here at the Indie 500 podcast. So great job.
It's coming home, right?
Yeah. But so in the absence of any, natural depressors of the economy, the Conservative Prime Minister, Edward Heath, decides to take a whack at it himself by implementing something called Decimal Day. And Decimal Day is the day when British money would switch from a system where previously 12 pence would make up a shilling and 20 shillings would make up a pound. Thus, £1 being 240 pence. And they were to switch to a system where 100 pence would make up a pound and shillings would disappear. The transition mandated a massive public education campaign, which included broadcast films, mass distribution of conversion pamphlets, tea towels with comparison charts, and even government-commissioned pop songs. And I believe you've pulled at least one for me, so maybe let's hear it.
With a half and a one and 2 new pence, decimal shopping will commence. Then we'll have decimalization. Soon it's gonna be time to change the money.
British people are weird.
Yeah. So, in addition to, I believe that was the Max Bygraves song Decimalization, which was a minor hit. There was also a kind of a rock band called The Scaffold who were commissioned to make 5 different songs that would play before popular BBC shows. Other than that, in June in the UK, the first ever hard rock cafe in the UK opened in London's Hyde Park, which you may guess instantly makes it the best restaurant in the UK. That's actually a joke.
Hold on. I have something for that. Yeah, hang on.
Yeah. Actually, I think there's a previous episode where I make the exact same joke about the very first Domino's opening in the UK. So, old throwback.
Okay.
Speaking of,
we're not above using old jokes.
speaking of throwbacks, then Education Secretary Margaret Thatcher proposes and passes an end to free school milk for children older than 7. So clearly, she was a very lovely person, even before we came to know her as Prime Minister.
Somebody for Linda McMahon to look up to.
Yeah, Jesus. And the first Reading Festival is held as a concert for jazz and progressive music, with a lineup that included Arthur Brown, East of Eden, Rory Gallagher, Genesis, Wishbone Ash, and Shana Na. And then also apparently a band named Audience, which is a great bit. We salute
Pretty good, actually.
We salute great bits on the Indy 500 podcast.
Hey, we're opening, all of us. The audience is opening. Oh my god!
Come see the audience.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm me. Yeah, no, it's great.
So we're going to call ourselves the crowd.
Yeah. Well, with that, we have finally arrived at Joni Mitchell's Blue, or maybe a little bit before. As Helio gave you a little preview of the pre what was going down pre-Blue. So before I kick off, I wanted to give much credit to a guy named David Yaffe's 2017 write-up of this album, which is very comprehensive. If you hear something referenced here without a credit, it's safe to say that it probably came from his article. And he also wrote a Joni biography called Reckless Daughter, a portrait of Joni Mitchell.
Oh, okay.
And once again, also go check out our previous episode, which was
our interview with Annie Zaleski. Yeah.
Yeah, where we try and we try and make it not just as not Alan Parsons, but as we've come to refer ourselves as the WD-40s, the white dads over 40. There's at least 1.5 of them here. Yeah, so it's not just us talking about like a seminal album by a female artist.
Give proper voices there.
So please do pop in and check out the interview with our expert guest there for another perspective on all this. But so we've come to about late 1969. Joni declares an official timeout from her recent successes and the obligations of playing and recording that come with it. The most significant portion being spent on this extended European vacation that she takes, and the experiences on that vacation form kind of the bedrock of a lot of the writing on Blue. So her trip starts out, she goes to Paris, France for a relatively short stop. She actually intended to stay longer, but she said she wasn't enjoying the, quote, old and cold feel of the city, a feeling that inspires the beginnings of her writing California. And having said no thank you to Paris, she sets her sights on sunnier settings in Greece. So Greece, once again, interestingly coming up for the second time on this episode after we mentioned the Odyssey. I didn't put that together.
Did we get a boost from Greek tourist board? Is that what happened this week?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. We got some shadow. We got some shadow funding.
Yeah.
So lock in, folks. We're talking Greece for the next hour. I love their fries.
Yeah, I mean,
feta's an underrated cheese.
It's 8:15 in the morning, but I'm not gonna lie, I could crush a gyro anytime.
Oh, yeah, me too. So again, the bulk of her sabbatical is spent in Greece, approximately a period of 2 months. Her and a friend go to spend time in Athens and kind of road trip it around. They eventually visit a cave-occupying Bohemian community on the island of Crete. And there is where she strikes up a kind of casual relationship with the guy you mentioned, the red-haired hippie named Carrie Raditz, who is a fellow displaced American working as a cook at a cafe on the island. Joni says, quote, "He blew out of a restaurant in Matala," she recalled, "and that's how I met him. I was staring out towards Africa and the sun was setting, and I heard this kaboom, and I saw this redhead, turbaned and all white, blowing out of the door of the restaurant, and I thought, great person. I have to meet him." And he just blew into my life. He was a character. Joni recalls enjoying Carrie's company and appreciating that he could, quote, "keep other people off my back," and described him as a rogue and a scoundrel. Carrie himself recalls that time saying, "I liked Joni a lot, and I didn't like losing her company, but on the road, you already know that friendships you develop are short-lived, and that's just built into the experience." After 2 months in Greece with Carrie, Joni moves on to Spain alone, and there she lived on an island called Formentera, which is close to Ibiza. And she spends about 1 month there, and Spain is where, this Spain time is where she writes that telegram home you mentioned to Graham Nash, breaking up with him, with the text of the telegrams. Yeah. The text of the telegram says, quote, "If you hold sand too tightly in your hand, it will run through your fingers. Love, Joan."
So, what's she bringing home for dinner? I don't...
Poor Graham Nash. On return from Europe, Joni spends about 2 to 3 weeks in her home country of Canada. This stop is centered around a stop playing at Toronto's Mariposa Folk Festival in July of 1970. And that's also where her romantic entanglement with your ex, James Taylor, really took off. Their relationship, their relationship lasts through the summer into the next year. They perform together a few times. Joni comes to visit him on the set of a movie he's recording called Two Lane Blacktop. And actually the track This Flight Tonight was written on a flight home after visiting the set of that movie. The two did live together for a short time in the Laurel Canyon home that you had mentioned that belongs to Mitchell. She spends Christmas with James Taylor's family in North Carolina. And that stop is the inspiration for the song River. So here's Joni talking to Cameron Crowe in a cover story for Rolling Stone. She said, quote, "By the time of my 4th album, I came to another turning point, that terrible opportunity that people are given in their lives, the day that they discover to the tips of their toes that they are assholes." And it's mentioned here. There's a solemn moment and then a gale of laughter. And you have to work on from there and decide what your values are, which parts of you are no longer really necessary. They belong to childhood's end. And Blue really was a turning point on a lot of ways. So with this new batch of material being amassed and in various states of completion, Joni returns to A&M Studios in Hollywood and begins recording Blue. There's only 4 musicians other than her who play on the album. There's a guy named Russ Kunkel who is doing drums and percussion. Stephen Stills, you may you may recognize from a band name we've mentioned a few times here. Stephen Stills playing bass and guitar. James Taylor, who plays a bit of guitar. And another name that comes up often here, Sneaky Pete Kleinow is the pedal steel guitar player on the album. I want to say he's pedal steel guitar on Grievous Angel as well.
I think that's, yeah. Sneaky.
The Hollywood A&M studios that she's recording at are located on the corner of La Brea and Sunset Boulevard in LA, or maybe in Hollywood, sorry. Duh. The building began as a film studio that was owned and operated by Charlie Chaplin in the 50s. It changes hands a few times between different places. It serves as a headquarters for Hanna-Barbera cartoons, Red Skelton's productions, and also the Perry Mason TV show. And then in 1966, A&M Records moves in both their executive suites, and they install 4 cutting-edge recording studios, very creatively named Studios A, B, C, and D.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the exact same photo in my luggage.
Yeah. Speaking of Spaceballs coming back. Other artists who record there include Burt Bacharach, U2, Pink Floyd, Guns N' Roses, Prince, John Lennon, George Harrison, Lionel Richie, Soundgarden, and perhaps most notable, the Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah, I'd say if you have a Juggalo festival, that's...
Yeah, I was really just kind of rushing my way through that list to get to the only important one.
What kind of festival they have. Gee.
Yeah. Also, the recordings and film footage from the We Are the World single, those take place in A&M's Studio A, if you would like a visual reference for for these studios.
Sort of like having it right now, yep.
Well, yeah. So Joni recorded primarily in Studio C. At the very same time, the Carpenters were recording their third album in Studio A. And as previously noted in the history/context portion of the show, Carole King is recording her album Tapestry in Studio B. And she often collaborates with Joni and James Taylor on that record. Carole King was reportedly very fond of a particular Steinway piano that was located in Studio C, and whenever she heard that Joni was going to be away for a significant amount of time, she would rush her entire production over to Studio C to use that piano. Carole King described that time as, quote, a constant stream of singers, musicians, friends, and family flowing in and out of the recording studios along Sunset Boulevard. However, despite, that kind of crowded, collaborative scene that Carole King is describing, the recording sessions for Blue were kind of famously kept locked down to only the essential personnel. This was stemming from the intensely emotional and kind of exposing nature of the songs that Joni was recording. Joni would note, in addition to her own preference for recording them alone as possible, she said that even when other people would attend, they would often feel like she was giving them, quote, the evil eye, and things would get uncomfortable anyway. So eventually, she just said, no more other people here.
She's got resting singing face.
Yeah. So here's Joni speaking on the kind of personal historical material on Blue. She said, quote, I had lost my daughter. I made a bad marriage. I made a couple of bad relationships after that. And then I got this illness. I was crying all the time. And my mother thought that I was being a wimp. She was giving me buck up advice. But later in life, she was walking through a supermarket and started crying for no reason and realized that she also had it, maybe milder than mine. She called me up and apologized. And it also simultaneously appeared when my insights were becoming keener, and I felt I could see painfully things about people that I didn't want to know. And I'd just look at a person and I'd know too much about them that I didn't want to know. And because everything was becoming transparent, I felt I must be transparent. And I cried. I dreamed that I was a plastic bag sitting on an auditorium chair watching a big fat women's tuba band. Women with big horns and rolled down nylons and house dresses playing tuba and big horn music, and I was a plastic bag with all my organs exposed, sobbing on an auditorium chair. And that's how I felt, like my guts were on the outside. And I wrote Blue in that condition.
I had the same dream.
Yeah, at all times, she is a poet, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus. Kind of
In the studio, yeah. In the studio, she begins to solidify and compile the songs. They're not just reports from her time off, but she's combining them with kind of a intense self-examination that she's talking about there, and emotions and personal tales that originate from way earlier. Perhaps the most exemplary of that would be Little Green, which you had mentioned, a song she was developing for nearly a decade about her child that she had given up for adoption. Another Joni quote here says, I was demanding of myself a deeper and greater honesty, more and more revelation in my work in order to give it back to the people, where it goes into their lives and nourishes them and changes their direction and makes light bulbs go off in their heads and makes them feel. And it isn't vague. It strikes you against the very nerves of their lives. And in order to do that, you have to strike against the very nerves of your own. After hearing some of the sessions, singer and actor Chris Christopherson famously remarked, quote, Jesus, Joni, keep something to yourself. Thankfully, advice that she did not take.
Yeah, I mean, we get it, but yeah. It would not be the same album if she did that. Come on.
No. So upon release, the album was universally praised by critics, mostly focused on the impressive songwriting and singing, and also the sparse arrangement that kind of highlights those two bits of the album. Commercially, the album continued Mitchell's streak of having bigger and bigger sales and releases with each album. In the UK, it gets to number 3 on their charts. In Canada, it gets up to number 9 and number 15 in the US on the Billboard Top 100. But interestingly, the album's single, Carrie, kind of underperformed, and it only peaked at number 93 on the Hot 100 in America. So kind of a backwards time where your album can do great while your single does not. Interesting.
Yeah.
It does eventually go platinum in the US and double platinum in the UK. And of course is a consistent inclusion on just about every best albums of all time list, including this one. Some other Blue tidbits here. Prince often covered the song A Case of You. And yes, of course he did, when it shows up in track list, changes the U to a letter U, as he is wont to do. He performed it basically live in every one of his eras. It's one of the only covers that traveled, through all of them. And a version can be heard on his live solo session album, Piano and a Microphone, which is one of my favorite Prince releases. Taylor Swift has said that Blue. Taylor Swift has said that Blue is her favorite album of all time. And that she loved that it's an album that, quote, explores a person's soul deeply. And as you may guess, her album Red is a direct reference or homage to Blue. That is the one where, reportedly, because I cannot claim to have listened to it, reportedly she pivots to a more personal and mature style of songwriting. And also the album cover for Red is very similar to the cover of Blue. Bob Dylan's song Tangled Up in Blue is a reference to the album, and that's confirmed by Dylan himself. He said that he spent an entire weekend listening to the album and that it affected him deeply. And that track features a open tuning and a kind of reference back to Joni. Dylan has also said that the album's kind of direct personal songwriting style inspired him to change how he wrote, leading into Blood on the Tracks. But it isn't always sunshine and roses in the Joni and Dylan relationship. In 2010, Joni went a little viral for telling the LA Times that Bob Dylan is a plagiarist and that everything about him from his voice to his name are phony. She said, quote, "Everything about Bob is a deception. We are like night and day, he and I."
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways, tune in next week because we cover Bob Dylan's Freewheelin' Bob Dylan. Possibly. We'll talk about it, but I think that album may have fallen through the cracks, and we like forgot that it was in our corral of possible nexts. So
it might be a fun follow-up. Yeah.
Yeah. I know we like canceled it for something, but we didn't like put it back in the corral.
We shuffled it out to do our UK electronic run.
Yeah.
Just that point we never put it back on the list.
We asked Kyle to cover the Free Will of Bob Dylan. For some reason he didn't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've got for Blue. What did you think of?
I think it's great.
I do too.
I think it's testament to how timeless it is. I just saw the little factoid here. 2021, the 50th anniversary of it, the day after its release day, it became the number one audio CD on Amazon. I mean, I know CDs aren't like a constant thing, but like for something like that to still sell physical media form, number one, a 50-year-old album, like that's kind of testament to how good this thing is.
Yeah, and CDs are like coming back too.
Totally. Well, and I think one of the things we talked about in the interview with Annie is just the idea that before this, a vulnerable woman album wasn't exactly something that was, typically out there. It was, songs were written for women by the men, usually sung with, a poppy cheer to it because that's what people want to hear, air quotes. But, I think this did so much to advance, like, women as musicians, as songwriters, as singers, you name it, guitarists. And for that, I think it's really just a pillar of, like, modern music. One of the things I like about it, too, is we talked about, like, the guitar sounds on it. I think, if this is just standard tuning, simple chords, the lyrics are still great. As you and I have said before, we're not necessarily huge lyric guys. So for me, I think the music itself does lend a lot more re-listen chances. I want to hear it again. I want to hear those chords. I want to hear that interesting, progression of these songs, as opposed to like if it's Sarah McLachlan or something along those lines, where it's still, deep, heartfelt female lyricist.
Yeah, the twists and turns that the music itself takes, like, almost brings it into. I mean, I can totally understand why Mr. Jaco Pastorius showed up and shows up and wants to work with her, because it's almost progressive rock sounding in places.
Yeah.
The way that she's arranged these and kind of deftly goes through the changes in the tunes. Like it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and I think this is like pretty much every album we cover. This one even more so. It's just fun finding all the little stories behind the songs, kind of after hearing them and then listening again. I mean, Little Green, I just kind of thought it was a nice little somber song, and then I read the whole story about her giving up her child for adoption, and like listening again, it's kind of like, oh, holy shit! Like as a parent listening to that, like that one breaks my heart. It's an incredible song, but like, brutal.
Yeah, I really, same thing. Like, exactly. Once you get the depth of it, like things like Little Green become standouts. Also, I really like California. I think everybody really likes California. I was really big into River too. That was one that I listened to over again a lot. What else was it? I
think This Flight Tonight is like my most constant re-listen. It's just what is it? 3-minute song. Good hook to it. Good sound. fun lyrics. I like it. Case of You. I
Oh, yeah.
definitely have grown to love that one. The more I like read the lyrics and kind of hear it, not just have it on, but actually like pay attention and listen to it. But now I definitely want to hear the Prince version of that.
Yeah, I think the one I listened to most, and maybe the one that I like the most, is the opener, "All I Want." There's a musical part in that where, I can't tell you exactly which classical song it is, but she takes like a motif out of a classical song just for a second, where it's like do 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 do, and like I think in the classical song it's do 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 do, but she takes that first part and like uses it in her song. like it's almost like a it's not a hard stop. Yeah, it's not a hard stop, but it's like a part where she's like stopping and repeating for a second and uses that melody. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and like it's early, and I'm trying to think of it, but there's another song that starts off. Is it River? It starts off with like a little bit of like a Jingle Bells type thing going on.
Yes, I think it is River, but yeah, it's like based around the melody of Jingle Bells.
Right, where she's not afraid to like incorporate these other musical ideas, but it's done like incredibly well, and not just here's a cover, here's a direct ripoff. This is why I have it in here. It's part of the story.
Yeah, I feel like this is, and I think it might be the mark of a different tier of album that we run into, but this one definitely feels like one of those, I hate to refer it to this way, but between me and you'll get what I mean when I say this is one of those Black Parade albums where maybe I'm not familiar with where it's coming from, and like maybe even like very not familiar with where the kind of genre, the artist, the scene, but even being unfamiliar, like this album, when you listen to it, it hits you and you're like, oh, this is like a masterpiece coming from a place that like it's almost even more enjoyable when it happens because you like hear it and then you say, oh, this is what can be produced by this whole scene that like I'm not even paying attention to, but here's something that like very obviously is triple S tier great album. Like everything about this album kind of, and I think earlier in the album history, I think I mentioned the contemporary reviews pointed out for there's good singing, there's good songwriting, and there's also a very sparse production to it that lets those things jump out even more.
Yeah,
and there's
polish.
Yeah, there's just enough instrumentation that it feels like, I mean, I don't know what would happen if you gave it more, but it really does feel like she walked it like right up to the point of this is exactly how much. Yeah, this is exactly how much music I need for this song, and I don't need to go much further. But yeah, it just all sounds great, and it all marries together in like one like really monumental thing. Like it's just an experience, and it's like really, it's just great listening to this album. Like if you get like anytime, I mean, it's it's getting to be summer. Like anytime you get a drive that is, let's see, what's the runtime on this? Anytime you get a drive that's, and again, this is an album that's only 36 minutes long. If you've got a drive that's like 36 minutes in the sun, like throw this on. Like you'll. Yeah. I mean,
or if it's a bad day, or if it's a good day, or if it's yeah.
I mean, there's moods. There's a lot of different moods on it, but yeah, if you've got the time to like really concentrate on it for like 36 minutes, or you're in like a a context where you can kind of like have your mind on it, like do so. I can't believe this. I can't believe it's only 36 minutes long.
I know it feels fuller than that, and not in a
It
bad
does.
way.
Exactly. It feels expansive is the thing.
So I want to follow up on that Black Parade metaphor. So I think for you and I both, the reason that stands out is because, at least I've tried to listen to other My Chemical Romance, and
Yeah,
it doesn't catch me
precisely.
the same way. Did you try listening to that 80s Joni stuff?
I did. What was it? It was the one that Annie recommended to us. I can't remember what it was called. Damn. But yeah, like Annie had said, like those are ones that people don't pay as much attention to. I mean, Joni Mitchell has a huge discography.
Was it Dog Eat Dog?
I believe it was. Yeah. She's got a big discography.
The one with Michael McDonald. Yeah.
Yeah. She's got a big discography, and Annie said people will often kind of walk by the 85 album because it was like, it's one of those things where, like, maybe with less in the moment, people were like, Joni's going 80s,
Trying to be MTV. Yeah.
synth type stuff, like, and not pay much attention to it. But yeah, like, removed from that context, and especially with the recommendation from Annie, like, going back and listening to that, yeah, that's actually a really cool album. I enjoyed that one a lot. That was probably like the one that I listened to in full, other than Blue this week.
Yeah, I definitely recommend my favorite. As I said, my entry point to her was Hygera, and if you had a chance to check that one out, super good stuff on there. Yeah, but Dog Eat Dog, I mean, it's Thomas Dolby, Michael McDonald, Joni Mitchell walk into a bar. Like,
yeah.
Okay,
that's right. Because when Andy mentioned that it's like produced by Thomas Dolby, and I said, I gotta go put the old save checkmark on this one right away.
Right. On an 88 album of hers, Chalkmark in a Rainstorm, she has a collaboration with Peter Gabriel. I mean, she's really works with a lot of styles, a lot of different musicians over the years. And I think that's one of the cool things, just trying to leapfrog around the catalog a little bit of hers is like, no 2 or 3 albums are exactly the same, and she has tons of material. So
yeah,
it's just kind of, she's gonna do what she wants to do for the sake of being an artist.
Yeah, I think I may carve out some time to search around on the other albums and see what's what.
Definitely. Well, cool. Any more thoughts on Blue, Joni Mitchell, and Bob Dylan being a fraud?
Just that it's really, just that it's really good. It feels like it could probably be higher than 63.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is the country that was listening to cheapy Chirp Chirp instead of Carole King's single there. So.
I mean, I think, could I come up with 62 albums that are personally more important to me?
Maybe, yeah.
But I think the Rolling Stone, like in their 2020 list, having a number 3, I don't think that's out of line.
I wouldn't argue.
Done so much for it's like I would have looked at that list.
Well, I mean, especially in the context of what's happening right now, and in particular, how big Taylor Swift is and how big of an influence Joni is on Taylor Swift.
Olivia Rodrigo.
We're in a resurgence. I forget which guest called it. I think maybe it was one of the Davids from Enemy, but called it, kind of the poptimism era that we've moved into. There's Joni's fingerprints are all over that. So
Definitely.
Especially, yeah, I'm sure somebody, Annie does in her interview, but somebody could get into it, but put up evidence for it much better than we are. But like, it's there, it's definitely there.
It's exactly it's the predecessor. It's the blueprint. It's kind of the alpha and the omega. It launched 1,000 ships, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, Prince loved it. What more do you need to say?
Right. And, Carole King would steal her piano when she wasn't using it. So, like, what's not to like?
Yeah.
I suppose if we're going to wrap up on Blue, we should maybe take a trip over to the multiverse.
What do you know about the multiverse?
The multiverse. Fizz had his theories. He believed it was real and dangerous.
Well, he was right about both.
What's the danger rating this week?
I mean, the danger rating on this one, oof. I mean, we're number 63 on the list, so pretty high.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
And I haven't seen these, so I'm going in blind. Let's hear it.
Yeah. So as I said, if you were to view this album on another list, Rolling Stone ranked it third, highest rated female artist on that list. Can't harp on it enough. Like, you look up a magazine or a publication that's doing best of all time list, it's on there. Top 20, top 30 on countless lists. So while we're at the Rolling Stone, though, let's take a look at their number 63, Asia by Steely Dan.
Oh, well, of course.
who's not on the enemy list at all.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Steely Dan's hit and miss for people. I could see a whole country being like,
yeah. I wonder. I know it's not, because we have the entire Japanese city pop movement to thank for it. But like, is Steely Dan an American thing? Is it a time and place kind of thing? I mean, it's for not to be on the UK is interesting.
Yeah, I can't speak to why it may. I can't speak to why it may not have been a UK thing, but yeah, it is kind of the late 70s sound of America, right? Like, yeah, like that.
Yeah, definitely.
The kind of legendary, people begin going. They specifically begin going beyond the idea of the studio as an instrument and being like, well, what if our studio is like a razor sharp katana, and we also only accept like the most immaculate takes of among like 500 of them.
Yeah.
Fire and go through musicians like candy, trying to find the one person who's like doing it correctly and things like that. Like, yeah, I think Asia is where they really push that like to an extreme.
I mean, it's, if you like Steely Dan, it's a Dan Goodway album. If you don't like Steely Dan, then get the hell off this show.
Yeah.
Or actually, don't. No, we don't have that many viewers that we can fire, or listeners. Not fire listeners yet. Stick around if you don't like Steely Dan, and just tell us why you don't like Steely Dan.
Yeah. Don't leave, but email us.
Yeah. Stand up for yourselves, damn it. Number 63 on the all-time guitar.
I will say, like, we get so little audience interaction. Like, honestly, if you did email us, or you like get at us on Blue Sky or whatever, like, your opinion is bound to shape the show. So if you're interested in doing that, like, I encourage you, like, give it a try.
Thank you, Mr. Christian Powers, by the way, for reaching out.
Yeah.
Always appreciate hearing
or I forget the name, but there was like one person who said, like, I do like that you guys did like the bands and NFL teams, and we were like, okay, well, here's like 5 weeks of that.
Well, little did you know that young man grew up to become Kyle Rife. So look at that, offering feedback, and he gets a spin-off show.
Yeah, if you need an example of how you can get involved, look no further.
Just praise us one time, and we'll give you the
I think there was another person who had like messaged me on Blue Sky and said the same thing. So yeah, if two people say they like a segment, it's bound to become a major part of the show, basically. Okay, Steely Dan.
All right, Steely Dan. We're moving on. Another similar artist, of course. The number 63 guitarist, according to Guitar World's top all-time guitarist list, John Christ, guitarist for Danzig. Yeah, that's kind of a fun one. I never thought of him as a great guitarist, but he definitely has some all-time riffs. I mean, like Mother. That's such a that as soon as you hear that first chord, like what song this is. Number 63 on this top 500 enemies songs list, Unfinished Sympathy by Massive Attack, a band we've spoken about. Yeah.
I'm not familiar with it, but okay.
Number 63 most played song according to data from Spotify. at the time I pulled this information, which is 2 weeks ago, As It Was by Harry Styles, with 3.33 billion plays.
I mean, 3.3 billion people and possibly streaming robots can't be wrong, right? Like,
I don't know what you're implying.
I
That
can't-
numbers are pumped up by
yeah, I don't think I've listened to much Harry Styles, but
that one's a newer one. It's pretty good actually. When it comes on in the car, when we're listening to the radio, I don't mind it.
which one of these guys is going to become our next John Mayer and be like one of these guys, and then later go on and like find second win as like nerd approved?
I don't.
You think
know
Sharon has it in him to take a turn and become like a?
Yes, because like he's getting into the music equipment side of things.
Okay.
So like I can see in the same way that John Mayer did, kind of getting that guitar nerd approval. Like he has a looper out now, an Ed Sheeran approved looper.
Oh yeah.
So like I can see that. Whether or not he changes his music or goes a different route, I don't know. I don't know. On that FIFA World Cup halftime show, like seeing a grown-up Justin Bieber was kind of weird too. Like I could see him, if he stopped being such a
Become an
D-bag,
elder statesman.
yeah, like
Yeah.
finding a new life somewhere, having a mid-career resurgence. He's really never gone away, so I shouldn't say resurgence, but
I think Bieber strikes me more as a like a prequel trilogy of musicians where maybe the rest of us who weren't into it don't get into it, but the people who were into it and were like maligned at the time may be able to single-handedly get him back.
I could see that. Yeah. He might not have his Wee Small Hours Frank Sinatra album or Dips and Valleys, but his fans will be there.
Yeah, just for the record, so I can put it down somewhere. And I mean, I only have myself to cite on this, but I totally called the prequel trilogy eventually becoming like a beloved thing, and specifically because the people who were down on it were older people. And I want to say I was like, right. I think I was like kind of in between these generations of people who did and did not like the prequel Star Wars trilogy. And,
I think it was cool and popular to bag on it. Mm-hmm. But if you take a step back and look at it, it's the lens of their movies for kids ultimately.
Yeah. And the kids, there's a whole generation. And the thing that convinced me that I had finally become right about that is when we started getting memes that were entirely centered around scenes from the prequel trilogy. I was like, oh no, wait, there's people out there who love these, who just like weren't allowed to speak up because they were basically like, they may have literally been little brothers to people who were like, fucking Jar Jar.
This bubble-throated pompadour fuck.
Yeah, but now that we've moved on and there's other things for those nerds to be mad at, like I think it's been proven that there's a huge generation of people who are totally fine and into the prequel trilogy. And I saw somebody make that same prediction with the sequel trilogy, and I'm like, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
it could be.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
You should watch Mandalorian Grogu. That was fun.
Oh, you did? Okay, yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's an extended Mando episode, but it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, no, I don't mind. I don't mind Mando episodes. Basically, like 3/4 of the time.
There's a pit fighting hut, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
My queue of movies is growing, and I like, other than the Odyssey, I did it no favors. Like I found myself with time to watch movies like this past week, and what I did was watch John Wick 4 again. I
don't blame you. It's
you can't. that may not be the best movie, but it is the most movie.
It is extremely well made.
It's jam packed. Yeah, it's well made, and I mean, if you listen, if you don't like what John Wick's doing, there's not going to be much for you there. But if you do like what John Wick's doing, like that is a feast and a half of things to enjoy.
Yeah. The young Skarsgård too is just such a wonderful villain, you know.
Yeah. He's
Pennywise or the Marquis.
He not only has it, he is it.
All that and a bag of chips right there.
Yeah.
So speaking of movies,
what more 63s do you got for me?
Yeah. Speaking of movies, the number 63 all-time highest grossing movie, well, maybe it's 64 now, thanks to the Odyssey. But 63 at the time was The Lion King, which has grossed $312.8 million. And that in today's equivalency would be about $700 million. So pretty good, you know.
Have you run across, there's a, I don't know that they're TikToks anymore, but there's a short form video going around of a comedian who claims to have translated the opening lines of The Lion King. And he says in whatever language it originates from, it literally just says, "Hey, look, there's a lion."
I mean,
audience and Helio, double check that for me. But I watched a video and that seemed to be the gist of what was going on. I don't think he was. I didn't get the feeling that he was kidding. I got the feeling that he had gone out and done this and was like telling people.
I wouldn't be stunned. I mean, you know, it sounds good, so why overthink it? You know?
Yeah.
Now this one, you're not going to know this reference. So the number 63 highest ranked video game according to IGN. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Have you ever heard of that one?
I'm incredibly unfamiliar with.
Yeah.
This is definitely not a game that I've bought like 6 times across various systems. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just recently had watched a speed run of that. I'm pretty sure I sent to you. Did you watch that?
I don't think I did.
Oh, okay. So there's an annual like games festival called Awesome Games Done Quick, where all of the speedrunning community comes together. And they do streams for charity where they try and like break records or like show off new tech for getting faster times beating these games. And somebody showed off not only beating Symphony of the Night in like 16 minutes or something like that, but beating the Symphony of the Night and the Upside Down Castle together in like 16 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, so check that out. It's really cool. And the other crazy thing is like there's like a part in the middle where he says he could have saved like an entire minute or two if he had gotten like a little more lucky, because there's a place in the middle of the castle where every there's a clock, and every minute either one side of it or the other side of it is open. And he was saying like if he could get through like the first part of the run under a certain time, he can get to that clock while it's open in the right spot. But otherwise you'll go through the run and you'll have to at least sit there for like 30 seconds or something, which is an eternity when you're doing like a 16 minute speed run of Castlevania. But yeah, there's so much crazy, awesome stuff that happens in that one.
Okay,
go check it out.
I do have to see that then. Yeah.
Yeah. The funniest thing I saw that I mean, I guess it's not new, but the funniest thing I saw in it was, you may recall right after the intro of that game, you go into an area where like death basically comes and visits you, and he takes away like all your good equipment. Like the main character Alucard shows up and he plays through like a room or two with like all this badass Alucard equipment, and then you get to, you know, classic video game stuff. You get to this room and a guy shows up and like telekinetically like takes it away from you. Well, in this speed run, there's a certain way where you can get hurt that like shoots Alucard backwards, like flying through the air.
What?
And if you do this, if you get hurt in this certain way in the room before, Alucard like flies through the air backwards through that room so fast that the guy doesn't show up. And then you get to keep all of that like really nice equipment for the next next part. I was like, holy shit, this is amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So check that out.
Okay, definitely. That's on the to-do list today then. Number 63, the most populated city in these United States of America, Newark, New Jersey, located 8 miles west of, or east, I should say, of Manhattan. Home of The Sopranos and other fine New Jerseyites.
Boy, I would have thought that would come in at higher than 63.
Right? I mean,
we must have a lot of populated cities.
Exactly. Number 63 on Rolling Stone's best TV shows of all time list, South Park.
Okay, yeah, another one that we're not at all familiar with.
Not at all. I mean, don't get us started. Just making South Park for all the years.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
A new friend I made at work said that he's actually been to the what's the cliff diving restaurant? Yeah, he's actually been to Casa Bonita.
Casa Bonita.
Yeah. Also, I don't remember if I told you, but I saw an interview with see, now it's early, so I'm trying to remember which is which. Trey Parker is the non-Jewish guy.
the guy in Minions, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, thank you for the lead-in. I saw an interview with him, because he's like the voice of the new like little guy in Minions and Monsters, and he said that the director there said like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll just, you do your lines and we'll just speed your voice up so you sound smaller. And he had to tell them like, well, you're aware that Cartman is my voice sped up, so we're gonna have to do. So if you see he's playing like a small Cthulhu. So if you see him recording lines, like he's trying to do a different voice, and then he's also putting his like fingers in his mouth to like kind of simulate the little tentacles. all in an effort to not sound like Cartman on this gigantic Minions movie.
I mean,
I thought that was really funny.
Kids hooked on South Park, though. Yeah, I mean, they had a little Cartman sounding Cthulhu. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we can put a wrap on the number 63.
Incredible. Another episode down.
Yeah, done in the chamber.
Dusted. Right on.
Shall we spin for a new number?
Yeah, if you don't have any meet me in the bathrooms, I don't know, like blue cheese.
I don't.
There's no blue cheese in your arsenal there, or any
there might
blue.
Be. Yeah.
What other food is blue? Like they make chips blue, but that's just like blue corn.
Yeah.
Maybe blue cornbread. I've had blue cornbread before.
Blueberry things, always good.
I just had a cake with blueberries on it.
Oh, nice. I had a blackberry. I got some nice blackberries yesterday, but I'm getting off topic a little bit. Maybe I'll think of something for blue. I really should get back on that and get back to sharing some recipes. But
I would love to. Yeah, I would love to spin. Real quick though. So we've kind of switched our thinking on upcoming albums. We have like kind of a corral of them, and we prefer to do them in order, but we no longer really have to.
Yeah.
So let me know in order, what are we supposed to have next? And of course we also have we also have number 501s that we could always split off and try and do. So yeah, we may be due for one of those.
We might be at the 501 episodes. Opeth, Blackwater Park, The Cars self-titled album, Tom Petty's Full Moon Fever, and So by Peter Gabriel. Our NME top 500 albums that we have spun: Wild Beasts, Smother, The Horrors, Primary Colors, Pixies, Surfer Rosa, The Libertines, Up the Bracket, and Flaming Lips, Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots.
Yeah. So I think if we're going to behave,
Oh, and we have Free Will and Bob Dylan out there.
oh, right. Add that one to the list. He
Exactly.
was supposed to be covered. Okay. Let's call Free Will and Bob Dylan the Dylan. I'm trying to do this word joke and it's not coming out. The Dylan-ignated hitter. He can just hang out until we really feel like hit Bob Dylan. Especially, it wouldn't feel right after this week, especially with Joni dropping the bomb on him to go directly to him.
Yeah.
It might color our opinions. So let's give Bob some time to heal. But he is
I put him on there after Flaming Lips. He's back on the list.
Yeah, we'll say that's where he's at. But I would say if we're gonna behave, it's got to either be between Smother and Tom Petty. And despite what you may think, I am down for either one being next. How do you feel?
Let's do Smother.
All right.
But start lining things up for Tom Petty, I feel like.
Okay, yeah, that's I could stand that.
Because I know we want to bring Kyle on for that one too.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say let him know it's upcoming.
Yeah.
Because that was out of his bracket.
Yes. Champion gets to the finish line.
Yeah.
All right. You want to give it a spin?
Yeah. Let's see. Where's my random number generator here? Here we go.
Let me get my random magazine generator.
Yep. Oh boy, the random number generator is giving me ads for AI. Turn images into 3D models. No, thank you.
Make your own version of the Odyssey.
Okay. Once again, assuring the audience that I am searching 1 through 500 and not 1 through 100 like I did. And yeah, here we go. Let's start spinning. The numbers are spinning. And what do you think? Which bracket of 100 do you think we're going to land in? Like top 1, bottom 5?
I think we'll land in the 400s, my guess.
It's going to be at 400s. Yeah, we've done a lot. I feel like we've done a lot of work in the 400s so far. But
yeah.
Okay, I'm about to hit stop. Let's see what we got. I'm not even going to look at it. Here we go. Stop.
We're due also for it's something we've already done, I feel like.
I mean, the chances, I feel like the chances are small, but every time we do it, I feel like it's going to happen. But I don't recognize this number, so perhaps not. Number 332 on the list. 332. I have the digital version. I'm scrolling down, but I won't look at it just in case you want to read the description to me. 332. Where are we? I'm still making my way. Okay, that's an interesting. All right, let's see.
And this was released in 1999. It says Oasis's Scouse peers channeled the spirit of the Beatles and the druggy euphoria of the Velvet Underground.
Is this the Verve or the Verve Pipe?
No.
It's what's his name's band? No,
It's not. It's not Richard Ashcroft. That's you're thinking of, right?
Not.
It's a band called Shaq. Not the basketball player.
We're not doing Shaq's rap album this week.
Yeah. Well, maybe we could. I don't know. That'd be kind of fun. Just the whole thing about Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah. And the album is called HMS Fable. So a new one for me.
Yeah, but they're apparently Oasis contemporaries.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
So, I mean, according
Shaq. Yeah, there's going to be some. Prepare yourself, audience, for some Shaquille O'Neal jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's put it on there.
Okay. Yeah. Stick it on the list, and then I'm gonna look up the Wikipedia for them just in case anything jumps out. It says the band's first album following their reformation after the interest generated by their previous much delayed album Water Pistol.
Okay. Let's see. Albums around there. Avalanches, Since I Left You. Paul McCartney, Band on the Run. MC5, Kick Out the Jams. Portishead.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've lingered in that
Oh,
territory.
you're going upwards. Oh, Jesus. We just missed the Avalanches since I left you by like 2 spots. I would have.
Yoshimi battles the Pink Robots, which is on the list at 328.
Hey,
Pearl Jam's 10 at 339 that we've done.
Oh yeah, one more. Danger Mouse's The Gray album is down here at 337, and I wanted to remind the audience that I consider that an illegitimate pick for an album. So whenever we do that episode, we're going to be talking about Danger Mouse in general, and also the Gorillaz as part of an agreement we came to during the 501 tournament.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Hey, Pearl Jam 10's right next to there too. They're at number 339.
Some Nina Cherry.
Hey, and Tom Waits closing time at 341. So yeah, we've been hitting up this whole area quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
I wonder if that's a quirk of the random number generator or something.
I mean, eventually we'll run out of these mid 300 numbers and we'll have to go to new territory.
Sweetheart of the Rodeo's at 351. We've and Hot Buttered Soul 352. We've hit a lot of 300s.
Damn, no kidding.
I'm not even through the whole thing. I wonder if there's anything else we've done here.
I guess when you've done 40 albums, you're down to get some.
Okay, here we go. Look at this. Frank Sinatra in the Wee Small Hours 374. Morrissey, Vauxhall and I 375. So that's I'm starting to feel like this is the bulk of our list is occurring in the 300s. That's interesting.
Yeah, with the occasional 63.
Gillian Welch's Revival 386. So that's another one.
Yeah. One of the early days. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some White Stripes in there, not the one we've done. Neil Young's Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere 398, which we haven't covered, but I've been listening to that song a lot for some reason. The title song there. Yep, that's the 400. So interesting that we've done so many 300s.
I agree. Where's Technotronic on the list?
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, Grievous Angel 317. Free Will and Bob Dylan 306.
Pump up the jam, pump it up while your feet are stumping.
And that's it.
There you go.
All right, well, we're set.
Nice.
One more album in the can. Here we go.
Awesome.
As we are we nearing or are we past 10%? We've done 50 actual album episodes, haven't we?
No, we've done. This will be our 68th.
Well, okay, so we're well past.
Well, as far as albums,
how many actual albums?
Right, I think we're at 39 or 40.
Oh, okay, so we're not quite at 10%. We're nearing 10%.
We're getting there. Yeah.
All right.
Little
hey,
outro.
another pairing here that I didn't notice, or I probably did notice and I just haven't remembered it. But David Bowie's Let's Dance 296 and Can's Ege Bumyase 297, right next to each other. So we've done that. Even with the small amount of albums we've done that at least twice now.
They're clustering up.
Yeah.
All right.
See, I'm just scrolling through the list now. I'm like, oh, hey, there's Aztec Camera, Highline Hard Rain 293.
Right.
So before I do this for the entire list, let's sign off.
Yeah, we'll do it for the after show.
Yeah.
Make my day. Make my day. Make my day. Make my day. Make my.
You're just gonna fade out on that. And I heard Kyle Rife has a poster from some of the very first Can shows in Cologne. I'm introducing this app to Alan Woodhouse, who remembered every top 10 album he had picked on the original NME list. And I heard you have a CD compilation of all the times that Brady forgot someone's name. And I heard Helio is selling his turntables and buying the Kevin Shields fuzz pedal from Fender. Literally did that. Using this app.
Literally.
I was there when Laura Snape said no thank you to one of our Know Your Enemy interviews. We'll get her someday. I was the first guy playing Frank Sinatra's In the Wee Small Hours to the rock kids. I'm introducing this app. I'm introducing this app to the listeners who somehow made the episode on Primal Scream's Exterminator one of our most listened to episodes. I'm introducing this app.
Special thanks to VHS Sound System for that wonderful cover. All right, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk again soon.
Yep. Have a good night or good morning, wherever you are, whatever. You can play podcasts whenever you want.
Have a good day. Just
Yeah, there you go. Have a good one.
yes, there we go.
There you go.
Or two,
Have a good
because
one.
it's taken you a couple times to listen through. We hope the prior days have been good, and this day is good as well.
Yeah, amen.
Does that cover everything?
I believe so.
Okay, we're done.
Good night.